Did Jesus actually exist as a real historical person? Or was he simply a myth invented and developed over time? When you strip away the faith and tradition, and you look only at the evidence, the case for a historical Jesus falls apart very quickly. In fact, the silence of history itself is one of the most powerful proofs that Jesus never existed. Think about this. Jesus is said to have performed massive public miracles, feeding thousands of people with just a few loaves and fish, walking on water in front of his disciples, healing lepers and the blind, raising Lazarus from the dead. And most dramatically, after his crucifixion, the Gospels claim that the dead rose from their graves and walked through the streets of Jerusalem. If events of this magnitude really happened, they would have been the most extraordinary spectacles of the ancient world. Roman historians, Jewish scholars, and everyday writers of the time would have recorded them. Yet, what do we find? Complete silence. Let's take the Roman world as an example. The Romans were meticulous record keepers. They documented rebellions, natural disasters, notable executions, even strange omens. If a Jewish preacher was drawing massive crowds, threatening Roman order, and performing mind-blowing miracles, surely Roman writers would have noted it down. Yet not a single contemporary Roman historian mentions Jesus. Writers like Seneca, Pliny the Elder, Quintilian, Martial, all of whom documented the era, say nothing about him. What about Jewish sources? You might think that Jewish historians, especially those living in Jerusalem, would have written about someone as disruptive and miraculous as Jesus. But again, silence. The most famous Jewish historian of the first century was Flavius Josephus, who wrote extensive works on Jewish history. His writings span the exact time and place where Jesus supposedly lived. Yet Josephus makes no mention of Jesus, except for a very suspicious paragraph that most scholars today agree was forged by later Christian editors. This paragraph, called the Testimonium Flavianum, suddenly praises Jesus as the Messiah and mentions his miracles, which is wildly out of character for Josephus, a loyal Jew. Early Christian leaders, like Origen, read Josephus but never quoted this passage, because it didn't exist in Josephus's original works. It was inserted later. That alone tells us how desperate early Christians were to create some historical anchor for their myth.